guys, what's up? Shin0555 here, coming at you with another video. And today's video is a little something different. So, I usually don't talk about like real world events on this channel. It's pretty much just all video games or art or anime or whatever it is. But I do want to talk about like recent events with like Trump being getting shot at a rally, and the war in Ukraine, and the war in the Middle East heating up. It looks like we are heading very drastically to a World War III. It just, the powers that be seem to want, they seem to all agree it's time for like another world war. All the signs show that we're heading there, or we're at least like trying to our best to like sprint to that World War III. So with that being said, it made me start thinking about if we go into a war, there'd be a draft. And if I got drafted, what handhelds would I bring with me? That's the point of the video today, is I want to talk about the best handheld to take with you if you get drafted into a war type situation. So there are a bunch of things to consider with that. So assuming you get drafted and put into like a military, like ground troop, foot soldier type deal where you're going to be traveling a lot, going into like cars or helicopters or planes, you'd probably have a lot of like little downtime. I'm not saying like huge amounts, but enough to like sit back while you're traveling from like point A to point B or doing whatever. And it'd be nice to have a handheld with you. And then it got me thinking, what handheld would I bring with me? So there's a lot of things to consider. Portability is a huge factor. You need something you can carry with you. You're not going to be taking your PlayStation 5 with you because you're not going to have a TV to hook it up or things like that. So you're going to need a handheld. But then which handheld do you bring? Do you bring a DS? Do you bring a 3DS, PSP, Vita, an Android-based handheld, a gaming PC, your Steam Deck? What system would you bring with you? And what would be the most practical one? And my choice for this one would be, I would bring my PSP Go. So one of the reasons why I would bring the PSP Go is just look how fucking small it is. This thing is the most portable handheld ever. It's thin, it's small, it has a good screen, and I think it's powerful enough to be really enjoyable without, well, I think like the portability and power aspect is a very good balance in this device. And I think it'd be perfect for a draft, mainly because you could keep it in a pocket. You don't need to bring a bag. You don't need to bring like a separate case for it. You can literally just keep this in your pocket and you'll be good. And for this video, I'm gonna be talking about a modded PlayStation portable or PSP Go. So it's super easy to mod these things, by the way. If you have like the right files and everything, like already like pre-downloaded, it literally takes like 5 minutes to jailbreak this thing and be able to put like whatever games you want on it. So yeah, and speaking about putting games that you want on it, we're going to talk about the games I would have on the PSP Go. So the PSP Go only has internal storage. You can expand it if you want. You could actually put like a manual like SD card in here to expand the memory. That would involve opening it up and like soldering stuff. I did not do that with mine, and the internal memory here is 19 gigs, which is actually plenty for a little handheld like this. So the first thing I would do, and again, to consider, in like a draft scenario, you're not going to be by a computer all the time to like change your loadout in the games. So this video is like, okay, I have this handheld. I'm going to put as many games as I can on it, and I want like a different variety, and things like that. So this will keep me good gameplay wise while I'm out doing what I have to do in some war zone somewhere. So keep that in mind. So one of the reasons why I would pick the PSP Go is you can put emulators on it. And the emulator I would put on it would be the Game Boy Advance emulator. One, because Game Boy Advance plays really well on this thing, and so that's the first one. Two, the game file sizes for Game Boy Advance games are so small, you can pretty much put like 100, 200 games on here with really not taking up that much space, memory-wise. So there's plenty of games you can put on here. And three, you get a ton of good games on the Game Boy Advance. You got the Pokemon games, you got the Legacy of Goku 2, you got Boo's Fury, you got Dragon Ball Z Super Sonic Warriors, the Sonic Advance games. There's a ton of good Game Boy Advance games on here, and you get ports of Super Nintendo games. So you can get a port of Donkey Kong Country games. I think all three of them are on the GBA. Along with like the Mario Advance games. So you're basically getting like two really good systems with just the Game Boy Advance. And the fact that you like the game files are so small, you can pretty much put any Game Boy Advance game you want on here. Again, some highly recommendations are the Sonic Advance games, the Legacy of Goku game, Legacy of Goku 2 and Boo's Fury mostly. Legacy of Goku 1 sucks. You can get the Mario Kart game that's on the GBA, Pokemon, obviously, Digimon Battle sprites. You can get, there's one good one that I thought. They have a Jet Set Radio game on the Game Boy Advance. I don't know if that's any good or not. There was one more that I want. God, I should have wrote these down. It was a really good game. Oh, the Harvest Moon games. You got, you get a huge variety of games. There was one game I wanted to say, and I can't remember the name of it, and I'm really disappointed in myself. I might get back to it. I might just randomly think of it. But the GBA has a ton of games, and you can put a ton of games on here. And another reason why you want to use the PSP Go would be a great one, is you got PlayStation 1 games that you can play on here. And there are a bunch of PlayStation 1 games that are super fucking good. But my choices for this device would be Digimon Rumble Arena. That's just a really fun, like, Smash Brothers type game. NASCAR Rumble. That's a really good racing game. And then I would put Crash 3 Warped. Spyro Year of the Dragon, so that's Spyro 3. And Mega Man Legends. I think that's a super good variety of, like, PlayStation 1 games. And one of the reasons why I picked those games specifically is a lot of them are really easy pick up and play games. Like Crash 3 is really easy to pick up and play, just play a few levels. Same thing with Digimon Rumble Arena. And having Mega Man Legends on here would be really good too, just to have like a really kind of big open like adventure game on like a tiny handheld is really cool. So those would be my picks for like PlayStation 1 games, but you could put theoretically any PlayStation 1 game you want on here. You just need the eBoot file for it. Some games that require like analog sticks don't work, like for example Ape Escape would not work on here, but that doesn't matter because that leads me into my next section where this could play PSP games, and there are a ton of fucking PSP games you could play on here. Ape Escape on the Loose being one of them. I think it'd be really fun to have like a good platformer. So Ape Escape on the Loose would be great to have. And then Dissidia Final Fantasy would also be a great game. That's the like fighting Final Fantasy game that's on the PSP. There is a ton of content on that game, so you could literally spend days playing it and you'd still have stuff to like unlock and do, and there's a like shit ton of content in there. So that'd be a great game. Any of the Final Fantasy games really. You got Final Fantasy Crisis Core, you got Final Fantasy, I think 1 through 4, all on there, like the PSP remakes. Those are all really good. What else? The Final Fantasy games are great. You got... Oh, you could get Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto, like Liberty City Stories or Vice City Stories. great to have on the PSP. Having like a miniature Grand Theft Auto game would be freaking fun as hell. The Harvest Moon game for the PSP is also really good. It would be nice to have like a little farming sim. I think it's called Save the Homeland. Super good game. A must-have on this is Split Second, which is a racing game. It's the best racing game on the PSP. If you've not played Split Second, I highly recommend it. But having that game on the PSP, along with, you could get a bunch of anime games too. Like, a good example is Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi Tag Team. It's basically Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi just on the go. So it's super good. You got Naruto Ninja Storm Impact. That's basically like a Naruto meets Dynasty Warriors type game. That's super good. And then you got Bleach Heat the Soul series. Heat the Soul 7 is freaking awesome. That's like a Bleach fighting game. So you got a ton of anime games you could bring with you. And last, I would want to talk about are the collections games, because the PSP has quite a few. 3 I want to highlight is the Sega Genesis collections. If you have that on your PSP, you pretty much have like a full-fledged Sega Genesis. It has like all the best Sega Genesis games, like Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Golden Axe, I think Alex Kidd's on there, Phantasy Star, just a whole bunch of Sega Genesis games you could just play on the Sega Genesis collection. And there's like bonus commentary and art you can unlock. Super good. Also, Crazy Taxi Fair Wars would be great to have on here. That's a port of Crazy Taxi 1 and 2. And all playable on the PSP. And yeah, those are great. So having the Crazy Taxi games with you. And the last collection game I want to bring up is the Power Stones collections. So literally, you got like, you get Power Stones 1, 2. So you get like, with Crazy Taxi and Power Stones, you got like 4 heavy-hitting Dreamcast games on your PSP. So yeah, those games are great. And I think the last game I want to talk about is probably Mega Man Maverick Hunter X. I think that would be a great game to have. 1, there's a ton of content in it. 2, it's Mega Man X. And then 3 is once you beat the game, you actually unlock like a full like 20-minute movie. So you actually get something to watch too, which I think is pretty cool. So yeah, those are pretty much all my thoughts on the if I got drafted, I would definitely bring the PSP Go with me just to take it everywhere I go, and just having a slew of games to play. And like there are just so many you can play on here, and with it being portable and being able to play like Game Boy Advance, PlayStation 1, and PSP, you can load this thing up with some seriously heavy-hitting and like really good games to take with you wherever you go, whatever battlefield they send you to when we go into World War III. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below. I would love to hear like what your handheld would be and what loadout of games you would take with you. I think that would be a really cool discussion we could have in the comment section below. So if I don't see you guys in the next video, it's probably because we started World War III and I got drafted, so I'll probably talk to you on the battlefield. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, thanks, bye. Later.